after further review.
What is going on, everyone? Episode 38 coming at you. We are ready to go. We got a lot of sports to talk about, and we're going to go right into baseball. And, well, yeah, I guess how's everyone doing?
Doing swell on this evening.
Doing pretty good. Happy to be here with you guys.
Just a lot of sports to cover, so we're going to dive right into some World Series action. Currently, as we're recording this, Rangers up 3-1, looking in control and looking for their first title ever. How we happy, sad,
First title.
don't care. Yeah, never won.
No, I'm happy for him.
I don't know what their World Series record is. They've had a lot of losses in the World Series, it feels like.
Yeah, how many times have they made it overall?
Good question. We'll get
Get
Stat Guy on that.
Get our young intern on that
Yeah.
action. I'm happy for them too. I think to come back from 100-loss season and make it to the World Series is it's like a video game type season for them, but it's pretty cool. And they're not really like a hateable team. I feel like you could make the case for one or two people, but overall, it's not really like a lot of people you could say I'm not a big fan of. It's almost like just different guys. It's cool to see Corey Seager make it pretty far and do it the way he's been doing it. Always been a fan of him, even in his Dodger days. I feel like he's a really good clutch hitter.
Yeah, so they've only been to 2 World Series before this, so this is their third. But 2010, 2011 were the two.
I think they're the
That's
oldest.
it.
They're the
Damn.
oldest team though in the league without a World Series.
No, I think the Guardians.
Oh, yeah, you're
Did
right.
they make it to like the championship series a bunch?
The Rangers.
Yeah, and just
They started in 1961, was their first year, and they didn't make the playoffs until 1996. That was their first year of making the playoffs.
dang.
How
And
did
they
they
had
have a
Nolan
fan base?
Ryan too, right? For a
Yeah.
long stretch.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan wasn't that good. I'm sorry. He's overrated. He just played a long time.
Yeah, I was just thinking because he would pitch like
Yeah.
600 innings every year.
Yeah, so they started in 1961, and then their first playoffs were 1996.
Yeah, but there was no wild card either back then. Just so unless you're winning the division, but they had a 4-team division though.
Yeah, and 2010 was the first time they got past a divisional series.
Oh my
Dang.
gosh.
They've not had a lot of
They
winning.
probably have a bunch of brand new fans. Nothing against them, just their organization has been hot garbage on the field. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole back all their Astros fans.
hopefully that when this podcast airs, they are World Series champions.
Yeah, I can't
I
hate it.
wouldn't mind seeing the Diamondbacks take 1 or 2 and just kind of make it a little more interesting.
Didn't they already take one?
Yeah.
I haven't watched yet, by the way.
Oof.
I'm making sure I keep those ratings down.
Yeah, they've been pretty down.
Yeah, I saw game one was the least watched World Series to date.
Are you serious?
I
in
saw this
game
whole
one.
World Series so far as the least watched so far.
Ever?
Yeah.
It is crazy, but remember when we did March Madness, we did talk about how those ratings were down too significant. And like, I don't think it's just a shot to baseball. I mean, obviously, if it was Astros like Phillies, it would be more people watching. I know, Ben, I'm not a sore fan.
First of all, I was gonna say actually the second least ever watched game is last year's Phillies and Astros. So
Are you serious?
Yes. So it's not just like I don't know if it's just baseball.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know which team would really get everyone to be in on.
Well, so I saw something. So this year, game 1 was on a Friday, which the reality is a Friday night. Like people are doing things. That's just kind of how it is sometimes. Game 2 was Saturday, which is like a big college football day. So then people have other things to watch besides like the World Series. Game 3 was Monday, which was like one of the only times all year where you had like 4 sports going on at the same time. And then you had Halloween, so I don't know if that's just making excuses or not, but it's just a busy time of year with sports. I don't know if that's just because the World Series has been falling. Like, I don't know if it's later than usual or not, is I guess my point.
It is. It is later than usual. And
that's affecting it.
yeah, because that's how last year's was too, because now with the wild card format, it's basically like everything got pushed back like half a week at least. I mean, it is a crazy time of sports. I also think just ratings and everything's down because just, I don't know, people don't want to sit down and watch the game. Everyone has a bunch of stuff going on.
People are busy.
But what people like, I will say for this year, at least the benefit was like last year, those World Series games were like 4 hours. So like, I get it. But the time was down though this year. But I mean, March Madness is still as exciting than ever before, and everyone puts in more brackets than ever before. And we talked about how those ratings were even down.
Yeah.
So it is a shame that the timing of all of it. It's
Yeah. I mean, and you had like the other game last night wasn't competitive really. I mean, I know the score was 11-7, but it really wasn't competitive. I don't know. There is something to say. There's no like huge stars or personalities on either team necessarily. It's unfortunate for the Rangers. You can't like tune in to see like DeGrom, like a prime DeGrom throwing. I think that would put some eyes on it. Like neither of them have elite, like an amazing elite level starting pitcher. Seager is just raking, but he's not what you would consider like an MLB star.
Yeah, I feel like the MLB never promotes him
No,
in
no.
any way.
Like we know, like he had an amazing year. He's probably going to be runner up behind Otani in
Yeah.
the MVP, but yeah, no one ever talks about him.
And also, I just think it's the fan bases of both.
well, in
Enough
general,
effect.
Texas is more of football.
Sure.
And
don't know,
like, I
it's-
don't know. I just feel like Arizona doesn't have a lot going on other than the sun. So it's like, what are they possibly doing?
I know,
There's
and you, I
literally
thought
nothing
like,
going on.
I mean, just the demographic of that region. I don't know how popular baseball is around the country, but I would think that in Arizona it'd be pretty popular.
And
It's
there's been a whole lot of like pro Arizona players that came out. Like I think Bellinger, Verdugo.
yeah.
There's been like a ton of people recently that came from Arizona.
It's almost like the teams and the fans didn't expect them to get here. So like fans haven't really been following the team. And even though that they're in, they're just not invested. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah. But even like earlier this season, they were in like first and second place for like a good
Well,
majority.
the Diamondbacks and Rangers both like the first half were really good.
Legit, yeah. But I don't know. It's not like they're watching the Phoenix Coyotes either, or Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
They're garbage.
One thing I did though here though, I mean, like I know I was being a sore fan last week and going this off about random dumb stuff, but like even though these teams aren't well known and they probably don't have fan bases, it could, be like a minor setback, major comeback for the MLB because you're getting exposure to these two teams that no one really ever watches because they're not that good. I mean, the Rangers get overshadowed by the Astros, and then, like we said, the Diamondbacks. I mean, probably since like the early 2000s, have actually been like consistently relevant. Even though this year is down, maybe now we'll have a bigger fan base going into next year because of these two teams. I mean, there could be plenty of people hype, especially the team that wins and or loses, actually hype for spring training. So
Yeah. And they can't be more excited about the Cardinals than they are the Diamondbacks. That would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but it's something interesting to talk about. And just, if you guys have any thoughts too, don't hesitate to drop a comment. And
Yeah, tell us why we're
yeah,
wrong about this whole situation. But
yeah.
we could drop a poll. Not, I mean, we're in the Philly region, but we could say, have you been watching the World Series?
Yeah. I mean, I've watched most of it, but still not all of it. I turned the game off early yesterday.
I mean,
Yeah.
also like I've been watching some Sixers now that they're on, so it's just
But yeah, you don't have
obligations.
time for like you can't just watch the Sixers and all like
Yeah,
not everyone has time for 5 hours of sports
But-
at night.
yeah.
greater
Unless you got
question is-
unless you got the YouTube TV multi-view.
There you go. There you go.
we
Yeah.
do need to figure out what's going on in Arizona though, because they should be watching the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they should be. They shouldn't care about anything else right now.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
actually
all right, the
pissed at
Suns are like the Suns. Yeah, they'll be good. Don't worry about that. Is everyone there healthy right now?
No, they just lost to the Spurs actually.
Oh yeah. See, don't.
The only
don't waste your
Durant was
time with
playing
that.
out of like the big three.
Yo, Wembenyama though had a nice second half. He had a
Oh,
terrible
yeah.
first half, but dude, they choked at the end. Chase, they turned it over with under 10 seconds. Wembenyama hit like a layup or something, and then they turned it over again.
Yeah, it was Durant.
Durant turned it over. Johnson, I think Keldon Johnson. I
Yeah,
forget.
Keldon.
Anyways,
No, but Booker is injured, so it's only been Durant. Beal
That's what?
still hasn't been in a game yet either. It's going to be literally all over. Why don't we just start talking about the NBA? Because first
Dude,
of all,
I always just think of that Kevin Durant thing from like 2 years ago when they asked him about like minutes restrictions or whatever, and he's just like, "Leave me out there until I'm dead." You remember that?
Yeah.
Let me die out there.
I did see somebody roasting Jimmy Butler too because he's already sat out a game and they're like 3 games in. And for load management. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I give props. The Sixers, they played Saturday, Sunday, and then they didn't play till Thursday. But Embiid played in both those games and had literally beyond MVP numbers on the back to back too.
Aren't
Yeah,
there fines now though? Didn't they do something
I
about
th
that in the
I think
offseason?
so. I think they were trying to like, but like
They
it's
did a
hard. It's
rule.
so I don't. It's like how do you enforce that though?
Yeah.
Like overall, but also like Embiid plays a lot of games, but the whole sit out the fourth quarter, and it's like I'm fine with that. Like if he
Yep.
played and he put up, like even if he continued playing, he'd probably drop a 50 piece every game. But it's like at least he's playing and then sitting like the fourth quarters. Like it's like all right, well you got your money's worth for like three full quarters of him playing. Like I
Yeah.
would be pissed. I would be annoyed if like he wasn't playing overall, but it's like how can you justify load management unless you were hurt last year and you're trying to work yourself back into it? But how can anyone be sitting? We're only like a week and a half into the season. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
How are like what how is right now gonna affect stuff that happens in April, May, and June?
So the team will only be punished for resting star players, basically, which is defined as a player who made the All-Star team or was named to an All-Pro team the past 3 years.
That's crazy. So they're only picking out even more than just a normal everyday starter.
I
It's
mean, I think the NBA should do it. It's kind of dumb, but
they basically said it could be a response from the Mavs who did that with basically Irving
Yeah.
and Doncic late in the year
oh yeah, and they
when they still had
totally
a
blew themselves off in the foot.
shot at the playoffs. So basically that
I
And they
mean,
had
what
they
they could
wanted to
do,
keep that pick.
the Mavs were fined 750K as a result of that. It said, but I don't know.
they could also just either reduce playoff games or a couple regular season games.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we
There's
all
like,
know this is the Kawhi Leonard rule anyways.
yeah.
yeah.
All right, big trade that happened. I know both of you are obviously huge Sixers fans. So what are your initial thoughts? I'll just run through the trade real quick, and then you two kind
Yeah,
of
run
get.
through this hot garbage of a trade.
All right. So for those who don't know, James Harden is not a Sixer anymore. He is now the Clippers, reunited with his old teammate Westbrook. And so the Clippers received James Harden, PJ Tupper, and the big name Felipe Petrovic, right? Did I say that right?
Ben,
Petrushev.
it's
Yeah,
Petrovic. It's
Petrovic.
not a big
Yeah.
name, Ben.
And then the Sixers, they got Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris. Welcome back, Robert Covington,
Ugh.
Hey.
KJ Martin, and then multiple draft picks, which I believe there's a 2028 first rounder involved, and
Yeah.
then there's some swapping, but I don't know. I know the 2028 unprotected first rounder, and I don't know the swaps.
Yeah, it's like second picks and
Yeah.
Ryan, why don't you start?
You want
Why
me
don't
to
you
start?
Yeah.
yeah,
First
yeah,
off,
yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I hate NBA pick trading. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we just said, there's pick swaps, there's protected first rounders, there's unprotected first rounders, and all of these picks are in like 2028, 2029. So all that I crumble up in the ball and just throw it into the window and just say some guy in an office somewhere cares about this. I don't, and I don't even understand it. But overall, I mean, I know Woj came out and basically was saying like this gives them a chance to maybe go for somebody this year around December, January, but also set themselves up in the offseason to have a lot of money to bring someone in like a Drew Holiday type of player. Overall, I'm just glad the toxicness is out and it did not last as long as the Ben Simmons thing, regardless of whose fault it was. I never liked James Harden before he came. I supported him while he was here. And now I'm just glad he's gone. I'm happy to have Robert Covington back. I know he's super streaky, but he's a lengthy defender. He's not old yet. I don't think. Look at Stack Eye on his age, but I'm pretty sure he's not old. I'm excited. Marcus Morris he'll fit the role of PJ Tucker. So him and Pat Beverly can fight people and protect Embiid and not fight people, but you know what I mean. They're the guys on
Yeah.
the court that wreak havoc. But overall, I mean, it's probably not a win of a trade, but PJ Tucker is old and that roster on the Clippers looks great, but it's looked great since Kawhi and Paul George got there and they haven't won anything. So
Yeah, and they literally just traded half their bench. Yeah, and Marcus Morris is a Philly guy, so it's kind of cool that he gets to play hometown. And was he the one that pushed Jokic a couple 2 years
yeah,
ago? Is
Yeah.
that him? Okay, I wasn't sure if that was marquee for him, but yeah. So he's gonna bring a little thump to the lineup. Probably bring a little bit more offensive points because PJ Tucker was always solid for laying an egg in the point category. Even though he would take up a bunch of minutes. But I agree. I hate NBA trades. First off, I hate the package deals because it's literally just a steaming bag of trash that we're not going to keep half of these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them got waived in the process, but it's literally just like there's so many deals that happen in the NBA that's just people that you could care less about that have no impact on the game, but they're literally just in there to be in there for salary matching purposes or just to fill out so they can have people to swap. But hopefully this does set them up. And like you said, Ryan, I hate the draft pick too, because it's literally we're going to be debating about some middle schooler right now who's going to be a 2028 pick. But at least it was unprotected. There's no protections on it. So whatever Oklahoma City does now in 6 years, hopefully they're still trash, but it'll be a good pick. I doubt the Sixers will hold on to it for that long overall, but hopefully I just want somebody who's not going to be a disgruntled star. I just want somebody who legitimately wants to play here for no other purpose than winning a championship and wanting to play with MB. I have no idea who that's going to be at all right now. I know people want Zach LaVine from the Bulls if they can somehow keep sputtering. Maybe you could get a chance at him, and he would probably fit the lineup at least decently. Yeah, I know I dump on Robert Covington a lot because he used to just make me want to bang my head against the wall and put some nails through my eyeballs, but he's not the most aesthetically pleasing player to watch, but he does bring a lot of value, especially defensively, which is good for Embiid. If Embiid needs a blow or when he sits out the entire fourth quarter, Covington can earn his paycheck that time. But uh, Batum, I guess he could be a nice spot up shooter if you wanted to. Kenyon Martin Jr., uh, maybe a guy who can just come in and get a few dunks at the end of a game. I'm not really sure what his role is going to be, but overall, I really don't think a lot of these guys are going to stick with the roster. If they can make a deal sooner rather than later, I'd prefer that. But I just hate the waiting game that we've been having to do these last few years. Like you said, Ben Simmons, we had to wait until February to get Harden. Now at least we got rid of Harden, but we're still missing people from the roster. And the East is more competitive than it's been in the last few years. It just keeps getting more competitive. The Bucks get out to a good spot, the Celtics, and then you're just gonna be chasing these teams, in the division. So that's the only thing that annoys me is because you could really be in competition for the first slot in the division, but now you're not gonna be, you know. I would like to think they still have a chance to be, but with Dame Lillard coming to the Bucks, with the moves the Heat did in the offseason, the same with the Celtics, it's really just making things tough sledding to get up in there in the playoffs, but whatever. I'll take a third or a fourth, maybe even a fifth overall seed if they can do something with it.
Yeah, I will say that I didn't realize there was a lot more pick wise that the Sixers got than I thought. So they got a 2028 first round, either the Rockets top four protected Clippers or Thunder 2026 first round pick, the right to swap their own 2029 first round pick with the Clippers, a 2024 second round pick, Clippers 2029 second round pick, and then cash.
Do you understand any of those picks, Ben?
I mean, I understand it. I don't.
The
It's
2024 second
stupid.
round pick says details below, and
Yeah,
it's some whole paragraph with the Thunder.
because and like a lot of it has to do with where the teams finish, and because so many people own these picks now, it's like I don't even know how you sort through this mess of a trade.
Well, and first of all, I didn't even know it was a three-team trade until I'm looking at this now. How the
The
Thunder? I didn't
Thunder.
even know the
Yeah.
Thunder were involved.
Yeah, honestly, for the
Totally
next
agree.
2 years, just assume the Thunder are part of every single deal because they have all the picks and a bunch of cap
They
room.
literally just acquired the right to swap. It's not even like they acquire their pick; they acquired the right.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
is
That's
so
why it's
stupid.
just so dumb. The NBA draft, could you imagine if it was still like 6 rounds like it used to be? Like they're
Oh
lucky
yeah.
there's only 2 rounds worth of picks. I mean,
And the Sixers didn't even have a first round pick last year. So it's not like they have a lot of young people to rely on. I saw they just picked up Jaden Springer's contract, but he's played maybe half a cup of coffee in the league so far. And he was the youngest player, I think the second youngest player in the draft when they picked him. I guess it's too early to say what he actually is, but they're paying him millions of dollars to just have him in the G League. And I know he was the G League MVP, I think, last year, or G League MVP Finals MVP. So that can be whatever it is. But just overall, these trades are such. I'd honestly rather just send around bags of dog poop, and it would probably have a little more value than all
Eh,
these pick swaps, pick trading. And the Thunder, if the NBA wants to step in, how about the Thunder not be a part of every single trade? Because they're literally just like it. Like if you want to launder draft picks and players, just get the Thunder involved.
yeah.
Like, I wonder how many people they have rostered or who they're paying just because people will dump it on them.
I mean, honestly, my biggest takeaway, like I'm just looking at the Sixers roster right now, and they have three guys that have been there like longer than 4 years. Three. They have Embiid, who's in year technically 10, but eight. They have Tobias Harris, who's in year six. And regardless, the thing that pisses me off about that is every year everyone says he's gone. And the annoying part is I've always liked the guy and I think he's a decent player. And now it's just going to be remembering him as the guy that every year everyone wanted to get rid of him. So he's on year six. And then Furkan Korkmaz is on year seven,
Oh my
who
gosh.
actually, from what I heard, wanted to be in that trade. The Sixers denied it, which is just he's been wanting to be traded for like a year and a half now. I don't understand. He's not gotten worse than what he was. The Sixers have made it to the same spot in the playoffs every year. So for whatever reason, they just don't want to use him now. So I don't get the point of keeping him. But so you have three guys, really only two of them get consistent minutes. And this just goes back to my argument for picking like all senior teams in March Madness. If you get a group of guys that play together for a long time, they're going to be good. Especially when like some of these players like Tobias, Maxey, Embiid all are like good players. I mean, you sub James Harden, you sub him out. You sub Ben Simmons and you sub him out. You sub Jimmy Butler and you sub him out. They had Robert Covington. They're bringing him back. Like, I get it. There's just has to be so much movement in a players' league, and there's so much money involved. And in today's with the media, if you lose, like you have to do something, right? But I don't know. It's always just like, oh, what pieces are we going to glue together this year for Joel Embiid? At least now it seems like Maxi's package with Embiid, but still not with Tobias. I'm just like,
it also makes it tough on like you gotta Nick Nurse is not he's an established coach, but it makes it tough on a first year coach when like he's coming into a new roster already, planning for the roster, and then like what are we 4 games in? Like he gets a bunch of new players, just like
Yeah.
learning, like just trying to figure out their role, figure out where they fit in and what rotation they fit
yeah,
in, all that stuff.
a
Yeah, I
setback.
don't think yeah. I was gonna say I don't think he's coached any of those guys either that they just brought in.
Right, right. So it's not
No,
like familiarity or anything for him. And I know again, he's not like a first time coach. So it's not maybe as difficult of a transition, but that's just another like added layer.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's a setback, and they just like we're just like, okay, well, they can use a lot of these pieces in space to bring someone in January, and I'm like, I hate when a team just like completely flips halfway through. Like at least this is early on, but you get a group of guys together, you have them play, and if they're hot going into the playoffs, they can make a run. And Embiid's on 6, 7 straight years of spiraling out at the second round. Like if you could just keep a group of guys together for even more than half a season, you might see some consistency. And I like Nick Nurse. I hate him when he's on the Raptors. It just seems like these Philly teams are on a train of getting coaches and players that I hate. I hated Craig Kimbrell. I didn't like James Harden. I mean, Nick Nurse, I wasn't a fan of when he was beating us on the Raptors. I actually think I'll like him as a coach. He's done well in the small sample size, but it just pisses me off. Just too much movement sometimes nowadays, and I know the media pressure makes it worse, and the money and the players have power, and I'm cool with all that, but just get a group of guys together that want to be together and let them run. Like
Who you guys should get?
I know
Yeah.
you're gonna say Thad Young.
I wasn't. I was gonna say Kemba Walker.
Oh God.
I would
What is
take it.
Kemba doing right now?
He's playing overseas with Shabazz.
Oh, all right. I
They're
like
playing
that.
overseas together.
I don't want to break that up. It
They're
No,
seems
the
like they have
best.
something good.
They're the best overseas guard duo of all time
they're
right
definitely
now.
the best UConn duo of all time. That's got for sure.
We should also note that Danny Green got the boot. from this
Yeah,
year.
why did they sign him? Just you think they're gonna have him try to clear waivers and pick him up again? Or
I don't know.
what
I
was
think it was just to meet the salary.
so they just had a relationship with Danny Green from the past. Had a
Yeah, and he was probably okay coming back here too. Like I don't think he hated his time here. So unlike JJ Redick, who said he wanted to play closer to home, and then he kept picking places that were really far from his home when he could have just stayed in Philly the entire time.
classic. Yeah, I forgot about him. That's another one.
So they
Regardless,
play on Monaco.
Kemba Walker played on Monaco.
Hey, do they play with CJ McCollum's brother? I have no idea, but he's been like an insane player in the Euro League like a
I'll just
year
say
ago,
Schwab's is
maybe.
doing better than Kemba in the EuroLeague, averaging almost 15 a game.
well, he's a lot younger, isn't he? Well, not a lot younger,
The
but he is.
94% free throw though. I mean, that's pretty solid.
That's
There's
a stat that
27
doesn't-
job openings. You guys trying to apply?
Oh, for the Euro basket. That's sketchy.
Do they have any remote positions?
Where where did
What
I
are
go?
you guys going into?
I think you have to log in and make an account.
Is that what it
live
wanted me
on
to
the
where?
podcast, and you're trying to.
Oh, you gotta register.
Oh, that's stupid.
That's butt.
The job market. All right. No, we were gonna look at CJ McCollum's brother. See where
Yeah.
oh my god.
Pinar Karasiaka.
Dude, look at this. He's played for Israel, Greece, China, Turkey, Russia, Turkey.
He's been
Dang.
around the world basketball wise, and a lot of sketchy stops.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in the basketball tournament, the TBT.
Oh, speaking of basketball tournament,
Holy, look at his career highlights and awards.
Yeah, dude.
It's like
was
LeBron
naked.
style.
Yeah. All Israeli League. Import player of the year.
Euro Cup top scorer.
I wanted to ask what's the deal with this in-season tournament with the NBA? Is it actually an in-season tournament, or is it just random games throughout the year they're having count towards this
I don't
tournament?
know. That actually starts this year.
Yeah, there's games like this weekend that I think count towards it. It's almost like
Wait, what the heck?
it's almost like a game within a game, like a tournament within a regular season game.
There's a new in-season NBA trophy called the NBA Cup.
That's
and
hilarious.
a prize pool.
I honestly think it's just to try to keep players more competitive, but it's just weird. Like if they would have done like the All-Star break, have like a mini quick tournament or something and count some of those games.
Oof. The Knicks have a tough group.
I was gonna
Oh
say,
my
I just
gosh.
a sandwich between the Heat.
What?
And that's kind of buns.
At least you know you're picking up wins against the Wizards and the Hornets.
I'm pretty jealous of your group, honestly.
Yeah,
That's
I know. I looked at our
not
group and I was
bad.
like, there's literally nobody in our group. The Cavs are going to be tough and maybe the Hawks, but
Even the
Good.
East, like that feels like an easy Celtics win.
yeah, what?
Like it feels like Sixers and Celtics easily got that, and then this just, I mean, at least the Hornets are probably a win.
I just
Yeah,
don't
the-
understand what's going on. Like, what is this? Like,
It's a way for them to get more money, probably. I don't know.
What do you get a second round pick if you win? What?
so is it just the knockout round?
It's money, another
Yeah.
trophy.
The knockout rounds throughout the season. Is there like an actual bracket at some point?
Yeah, there will be.
I thought this was supposed to do something with the playoffs, but that doesn't seem like this affects the playoffs at all. Seems like people are just not going to take this thing seriously.
The winning team will earn its players will earn 500K each for the winning team.
I mean, I guess that's cool if you're like a roster bubble guy.
Yeah.
Like you could get a little bit of money your way. I mean, that's a cool thing, but
Do you think? But like, is this like? What if you like had like a bum hammy and it's like, oh, I need to rush back to get to my in-season tournament.
Wait,
game.
hold on. They're taking this from the WNBA?
why does the WNBA do it?
The ability to sell its television rights as it did with the WNBA's version of the event.
So the NBA is just going to make more money off of this, and
Basically.
it doesn't affect anything else.
Oh yeah, see, it says they're doing this tournament during the most relevant part of the NBA schedule. Like they're just, I don't know.
This
It's
is the
just-
dumbest thing I've ever
Yeah.
heard.
It's stupid. That's just why I didn't do any research. I'm glad you guys didn't either.
Yeah, well, on that note, let's we got some brackets, right? Some
Oh, yeah.
some
Yeah.
brackets that
Speaking
actually
of
matter.
playoffs,
These
yeah.
brackets matter more than the NBA Cup brackets. Let's be real.
DJ Nito, Stat of the Night, presented by Penny My Chase.
Oh yeah.
We will say we're not doing the whole we're just doing 1 through 8, right? We agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, well, because honestly, it just gets too complicated. We tried to do it last year. We're just doing 1 through 8, and we'll deal with it later.
So we make brackets preseason, before the postseason. But last year, postseason NBA, we did that bet for the 6-pack. Then I did get Ben. Do you guys want to do that again? And we can include this. This can matter. Like these preseason brackets can go towards points. Then we reset once the playoffs start. And are you guys in?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, so just so you know, this matters right here.
Yeah.
Our brackets.
No, I'm doing my bracket right now, dude.
You're filling your bracket.
Yeah, just
right
go.
now?
Also, I'm realizing we should have did a every week do a pick 'em for the NFL games and then do like an overall record, but we're too far into the season already.
Oh yeah.
It
was a massive break.
it's not too late for the NBA ones, although I get this podcast out before my game goes.
Oh, you have to go for like the Friday game.
I'm gonna have to hope someone's not sitting out Friday. I mean, I can just quickly take a dazzle in here and go through anything I see surprising that I have, and who I got going out of the East and out of the West.
All right, let's do it.
All right, yeah, I'll go first. I mean, like we said, we left out the playing teams. This is just a preseason bracket. Nothing crazy. I think the Celtics will be the number 1 seed in the East. I mean, not a whole lot going on the East side. It'll probably be them, the Bucks, Sixers, Heat will probably be the top 4 after that. Maybe a couple surprise teams. I do have the Sixers and the Heat in my Eastern Conference. I have the Heat facing the Celtics in the second round, and they will once again take them out like the Phillies do with the Braves every year. The Heat will take out the Celtics again, and the Sixers will finally get over the Giannis hump that they can never seem to beat him, regular season or playoffs. They've always struggled with the Bucks. They get past the Giannis hump. Giannis and Dame, super team does not work. Sixers, Heat, got the Sixers coming out because I'm just, I'm going to be optimistic. The year that no one thinks they'll actually do something, maybe this is the year they don't have as much pressure and they go for it. Doc's not there anymore to choke. And on the other side, I got the Clippers as the number 1 seed. This was before the James Harden deal. Don't know if that helps me or hurts me, but already Paul George and Kawhi, honestly, not even Paul George. I just think Kawhi has the capability to take over a team. And if he can actually put together one healthy season, I think they have a chance to be the number 1 seed. I do have them choking, though, in the playoffs against the Suns, which was the only Big 3 team in recent years I have not put my money against. I told Ben that I do think Brad Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker will work out. And I have them beating the Clippers in the second round. Nuggets fall in the 2-hole with the Warriors in the 3-hole, so they meet in the second round. And I do have Golden State. I think that they're still not done. They're durable. They've been there 8 million times. And last year they didn't go to the finals, so this year I have them knocking out the Nuggets in the second round, but then ultimately losing to the Suns and get a blockbuster matchup in the finals with the Suns and the Sixers. And, I'm just going to pick my Philadelphia 76ers. Pick the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. I'm picking the Sixers to win the NBA Finals. Only other weird sleeper picks, I have the Lakers sneaking in at the A spot. I do have the Mavs making it in the 7th hole. And over on the East side, I have the Hornets sneaking in as the 8th. Really don't have anything behind that besides they're going to kind of be like the Kings this year on the East, where they're just going to be healthy enough and win enough games to sneak in. But
yeah, we matched up on a couple spots. I also have the Mavs as a 7th seed in the West.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they get in, but to jump onto mine real quick, I also have the Celtics as the number 1 seed in the East. And then I have the Bucks being the 2 seed and Philly being the 3 seed. Ben, I have your Knickerbockers being the 5th seed going against the number 4 seed Heat in the first round. And I have them beating the Heat.
Oh.
To set up a matchup as the 1-5 with the Celtics. And I have them beating the Celtics too.
Chase, where's the confidence coming? Do you think they make a deal or you think that they can just win like this?
I think they're just going to take it.
I like it.
I have an impartial little bit of a bias towards the Knicks. They ended up taking a lot of Villanova players, much to the
I like it.
stabbing of my heart, but I respect it. They're good players, and I like it. I do think they make some kind of a deal. I think it's been bandied about a lot, and I think they have a lot of good pieces that they could put something nice together. Whether or not it happens, or I think they're in a good spot in the East where they can get into the playoffs and maybe sneak a few wins in. Past that, I have the Cavs as the number 6 and the Hawks as the 7. I know it's not really enticing or sexy matchups at all, but as far as the Sixers go, I really wanted to put them in, making it going far, but there's just too much uncertainty for me to do that. And this was obviously before the Harden deal and before whoever they could maybe get or not get. But I have them as the 3 seed, but I have them unfortunately getting bounced by the Damian Lillard and the Bucks and the to make it to the Eastern Conference Championship round. And I have the Bucks beating out the Knicks, unfortunately. Their storybook year comes to a screeching halt with Damian Lillard. As far as the West, the Nuggets think they have a good chance to maybe go back, but I have them being a regular season team and being the number 1 seed.
Same.
And number 2, I have the Suns, obviously for reasons. They have a big 3. They're talented. They can do a lot of damage. The Grizzlies in the number 3 spot, I feel like they're kind of not being talked about at all at this moment. Maybe for good reason, maybe not for not good reasons, but feel like they can just get in there and maybe get some wins. They obviously retooled a little bit in the offseason, switched out their roster and made some decisions. The Kings, I think they can be another competitive team this year. They're in the 4 seed. The Warriors with the 5 seed. Clippers, as much as I don't want to say it, I hope they miss the playoffs entirely, but I have them in the 6 seed. So at least they did enough to get a good playoff spot, not have to deal with the play-ins. The play-in teams obviously ended up being the Mavs in the 7 and the Lakers with the 8. LeBron's going to do whatever he can to somehow will the Lakers into the playoffs, even though it's going to seem like they're not going to make it by December. So obviously they figured out, hey, maybe they get hot during the NBA in-season tournament, light it up.
Yeah.
AD might be hurt, but he might come back before the playoffs start and do a little bit of work for them. But obviously, I think you can tell how the West is going to shake out. The Nuggets, obviously, no competition for them. They put up a lot of work, beat the Kings in the second round. And actually, the Mavs might be a little sleeper. I have them upsetting the Suns in the first round.
Okay.
Maybe drunk Kyrie does a little bit,
Okay.
not damage his team. And I think actually he has nothing to do with it. I think it's more on Luka Doncic actually getting the ropes and maybe not the Mavs being jerk offs and not doing anything with them. But I think he has enough. I think this is the year where he really puts the work in, gets the team in. As a 7 seed, I have them making it all the way, beating the Grizzlies and matching up with the Nuggets in the Western Conference Championship. But I think their storybook run ends there with the Nuggets going back. Obviously, Jokic is an annoying superstar, does what he does, riding his chariot into the finals with a matchup against the Bucks, and I have obviously, unfortunately, the Nuggets running it back to back champions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bonds year to have this actually happen, but if anyone could do it, I think the Nuggets could probably do it.
Nuggets.
Were the Warriors the last team to go back to back?
I think so. And I don't even have them making out of the first round, by the way. I have the Kings beating them in the 4-5.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
They get their revenge.
And too many miles on the Warriors. We said it last year, but you can only go so deep for so long and stay healthy for a lot of that too.
I'll get into mine here quick. I had actually the same thing. Warriors at the 4, getting bounced by the Clippers at the 5 in the first round. So same thing. No real surprises. I have the Mavs at the 8 hole. Pelicans at the 3 spot maybe is a little surprising. I have Nuggets Clippers matchup and then Suns Pelicans with the Western Conference Finals as a Clippers Pelicans is my Western Conference Finals matchup.
Damn.
So
get that Brandon Ingram love going.
That could happen. CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram.
If they're healthy. Now that's also me relying on a healthy Zion. So,
Don't say if, because the NBA playoffs, they make it 4 7-game series of competitive basketball.
Yeah.
And by round 1, everyone's already injured. So you just got to hope that those two teams don't get injured.
Let's hope. So I got the Clippers making it out as the Western Conference Finals representatives, Western Conference representatives.
Dang.
Over on the East, nothing crazy. I do have the Magic as a 6 seed, which is the kind of weirdest one, probably. So I have the Knicks as a 7, and I have them upsetting the Bucks.
Ooh.
Just a little bit of a homer pick. So I have the Knicks Magic matchup. With the Magic, I have them knocking off the Heat.
You have the Knicks
Dang.
Magic second round matchup in
Yeah.
the East.
Oh
I
my
mean, it's
gosh.
possible.
I have the Knicks getting out of that one. So they match up over on the other side with the Celtics. Fortunately, the Celtics and Sixers matched up again as I have it now, and Celtics took the dub. And then Celtics ultimately beating the Knicks. As much as I'd love to send the Knicks all the way, I don't think they have what it takes yet, unless they make another move. So I have Clippers Celtics, with the Clippers getting their first ever championship.
Dang.
Ooh, I like it. So you
Oh,
guys
just did now.
both have the Knicks in your Eastern Conference championships. So that's
Yeah.
definitely the
Hey,
biggest
I'd say
thing.
last year, even as far as they got, I wasn't upset with that they lost. Like, to see legitimate, like, exciting, meaningful Knicks basketball, I felt like it'd been a minute.
Yeah. Also, I should point out I had the Magic as the 8 seed, making it in as
Okay.
Yeah.
so
I
also had
just
the
think
Magic in there.
Yeah, Franz is pretty good. Paulo maybe take a step forward this year too, and I think they have a shot.
Are you a
No
more
Yeah.
more.
Franz guy or a Mo guy in regards to the Wagner brothers?
Franz looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Franz is the better of
Uh,
the two, I think.
I'm more of a Tyler Hansbrough kind of guy.
All right. On that note, I'm pivoting. I I am 0-4, right? Am I 0-4 my AFR picks? Yes, I am 0-4. And I will say that right now, I'm a little nervous about my Tennessee Titans over 7.5 pick. And I'm just quickly looking at the schedule. They were 2-4 going into Sunday, and I was actually nervous. Them
It's huge.
beating the Falcons is probably will be their biggest win of the season for me. And I do feel a little more confident again. They got the short week this week with the Steelers. Who knows? But they still have to get the Texans twice. They get the Colts again at home. They lost to them first round. This round will be without Anthony Richardson. So
I will say quickly, their over under still sits at 7.5. It's plus 102 for 7.5, but it's still there.
hey,
Yeah.
if you're listening right now, jump on. Because
Yeah.
I was scared. I was scared of 2-4, but remember what I said? You go back before the season started. I said if they start, 1-3, 2-4, don't get nervous. Well, I did. They came through for me on Sunday, and hey, we're gonna ride this out
got
to
some winnable
get the
games.
first hit.
Yeah. And they didn't sell off at the deadline either. I know a lot of people talked about Derrick Henry being on the way out, but they didn't make any drastic moves other than trading Kevin Byard. But
No, and
they
they might have
gotta,
gotten better with Levis at quarterback. Honestly,
yeah.
they might have gotten better. So they have some easy. I mean, playing the Texans 2 more times and then the Colts, like those are they might not necessarily win like automatic
The
wins,
Panthers
but
are in there. That
yeah,
should be a win. I mean,
yeah. You have some winnable games. Even the Bucks, like those are winnable games.
Yeah, they can grind out those games and hey, just ride Derrick Henry. I mean, you have use
Yeah,
them.
Vrabel's and I like Vrabel. I think he's a pretty solid coach.
yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And Ben, I know that the Niners were 5-0, and your Rams to win the division was looking super cold, and they had that Steelers loss 2 weeks ago really hurt you, but they are only 2 games back right now. I mean, I know you're probably not feeling good, especially because the 49ers just got Chase Young for nothing. I once again hate the Commanders because they're stupid. But regardless, looking at the Rams schedule, they could make a run and make a push for this division. I mean,
The big question is, what is Stafford's injury? Does anyone know? Is he
he's fine.
I don't know. I thought it was a hand injury.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the hand. I thought you were talking about the shoulder.
That's already a bad start.
I have no idea. I just knew he was hurt, but
This
I
is
can't
what
tell
happened
now.
last year, actually, and this is why they were like absolutely garbage.
Day to day after suffering UCL sprain in his throwing thumb.
Okay, so
It's a butt injury.
you hand the ball off to Cooper Cup. What I'm saying is, Ben, you're not out of the woods yet. This 3-game losing streak for the 49ers have given you hope.
But it's basically the best news possible because they basically also said they're not going to have to put him on injured reserve. So
No.
it's good
Yeah.
news for what could have been. I mean, they have a bye though, not next week, but the week after. So they may.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they're going to beat whoever they put against the Packers. They'll win this.
who's
Sunday.
their backup? Do you know? Does anyone know who their backup is?
Like
No,
it's
I think they were shuffling people and they were trying to sign people off of practice squads, but they were
Is
trying to
it?
get that. They were trying to get John Wolford, who I mistakenly said played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he played for the Arizona Rattlers.
Oh, right now it's Stetson Bennett.
Oh, is he with the team again? I saw they kicked. They
Oh,
told him to stay home for a while.
nope, nope,
Is
he's
it
not back
Bryce
yet.
Perkins?
No, he's not back yet. No, it did say they're expected to sign Wolford, but
Yeah,
oh,
Tampa
Brett
Bay
Ripon.
elevated
It's
him.
Brett Ripon ready to
Oh,
go.
all right. He's made a few starts. He's had a few games under his belt with the Broncos.
yeah.
And they had some tough injuries in their backfield too. They've been shuffling guys up and down with running backs, and I think that can put a team out of whack too.
Yeah,
Just obviously with the Ravens, I know a lot about that,
he's
having
got
to
a career
shuffle guys back and forth.
four TDs to 8 pick ratio.
Okay.
All right, not good, not bad.
I will say I'm a little happy that the NFL they were starting to make me nervous with these trade deadlines, trying to be like the NBA and just completely mess up every roster known to man. I'm glad that this year was a little more calm because then you could see some like nice simple moves. Vikings getting Josh Dobbs, I think that's solid. That shows they're not giving up even with Kirk out and Justin Jefferson out. They're still going to try to be, semi-competitive. I haven't seen a whole lot about Josh Dobbs, but it seems like a lot of people like him and think he can be competitive. So it'll be nice to see him get a chance.
Is Kyler coming back then? There's no way they traded him without Kyler.
No, I think if he doesn't come back this week, he might be ready for next week.
Yeah, they
So
opened
he's
the
right
window.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, so he has 21 days, but I mean, but there was just some nice simple moves. I mean, I'm salty the Commanders traded Chase Young. I mean, I'm happy he's out of the NFC East, but
I mean, he's one helmet shot away from being out for the rest of the season. He's literally pretty unreliable. He's a great name, but I also agree. I think that San Francisco kind of got one over on them. I mean, he was literally the second overall pick not that long ago. Just swiped him up, but Washington had a little bit of a fire sale getting rid of both their edge rushers for second and third round picks. So do with that as you will. Commanders are doing Commanders things.
Some good stuff going on in football. And I guess as we're getting towards the end of our show here, Chase, I wanted to touch on quickly Ngannou Fury
Yes.
this past weekend. Heavyweight fight, huge fight. It actually happened. And crazy. Ngannou won. I mean, probably won the fight. He didn't get the decision.
Yeah, got stuck with the shiesty split decision.
Yeah, super shiesty.
Yeah, but I saw that he's going to be a ranked heavyweight in one of the organizations, Eddie Hearn's organization. So he's going to be a top 10 ranked heavyweight in boxing. And PFL said today his next fight won't be in the cage. So he's going to run it back with somebody in boxing.
Oh, that's
But
cool because I know that's like what he always wanted to do. And I'm interested to see what the UFC just if Dana White comments because I know he's just probably just
oh, yeah,
boiled right
he's
now.
hiding right now. He's probably locked up on a boat somewhere off of Monaco with a blackjack dealer, not considering anything about the world
I
right
just
now.
know at the press conference for the UFC fight night coming up, he's going to be asked about it. I'm excited to just hear what he says because I know he's going to be just salty. He's going to say some snarky response.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I really wish he was still in the UFC, but for the first time ever, a mixed martial artist going into a boxing ring looked way better than the boxer that was in there. I think Tyson Fury underrated him a little bit and just the actual power that Ngannou has and his ability to just move around and shake off punches. I mean, I think he did a wild job. I know people were calling for Ngannou Deontay Wilder as a possible fight. I think that's a great matchup for both guys, especially Wilder trying to rebuild his brand a little bit as a guy who was a legitimate knockout artist. And for Ngannou, he can get back in there and get up against a guy who's obviously had a lot of hype on his name and for good reason. But he looked really good. I would say that he really took it to Tyson Fury, and that's somebody who's beat the brakes off of almost everyone he's been in the boxing rings with. So overall, yeah, I would say I was really impressed by it. I was a little scared, and not for nothing, Fury was like a 7-1 favorite in that fight. So for Ngannou to go in there and end up with a split decision, probably should have went his way. And I think a lot of people saw that. That's pretty good on him for being able to get out of a contract and do what he wants to. obviously I would love to see him back in a cage blasting people's heads off, but
Yeah.
I'll settle for boxing.
No, it's just good to see a UFC guy get in there with a boxer and not get like destroyed. Like,
Yeah, and not a YouTube boxer either.
yes. And that was a legit boxing fight with like you would never have known that's Ngannou's first ever professional fight. I mean, that's just absurd. Like obviously he had professional experience throwing punches, but
Yeah, it's a
he looks really good.
yeah, and it's a change going from a 4 ounce glove to a boxing glove. I think a lot of power can kind of get absorbed by the boxing gloves.
Yeah.
So maybe but he had a legit knockdown, and if that was in the cage, Fury would have been out cold still, probably
Did
not
you
even
see the
knowing what
elbow
happened.
or the did you see
Yeah,
the video of that?
yeah, he landed a lot of dirty stuff, and I think he was legitimately scared that he was about to lose that fight because
Yeah.
it was not going his way. He was not enforcing his will on Ngannou. I think Ngannou had a lot of good control of the ring, and he was the guy being the aggressor. I think Fury was landing a lot of good counter shots. He is a good counter striker, but Ngannou was the one who I think Fury thought that he was going to be in the position.
Yeah, I'd love to see in just one of these boxing fights, just one of those Alistair Overeem under like
Oh,
cuts in like a boxing ring. Oh, that would be so nice to see.
it's coming. I mean, he can unleash some power,
Yeah,
especially now that he has a good feel for I think it's one thing to spar and do all that but to get in there, do it for real in the moment, I think now he can only get better from that
yeah,
experience. Yeah, it was good, and I'm excited. Usyk was there, and I know Usyk and Fury have a fight coming up. They postponed it to February, but still, not for nothing. If Usyk saw that, I mean, if he disposes of Fury, I think he would have a little bit of juice going against Ngannou. And also I saw that Anthony Joshua was a fight too mentioned for Ngannou, which is
that,
also another good fight. And I think
yeah,
Ngannou could literally punch Anthony Joshua's head clean off. So, like we were saying about Alistair Overeem or Jareno Rosenstrike matchup, I think Ngannou could beat the brakes off of Anthony Joshua.
yeah. No, I think so too. I mean, both those guys with crazy physiques, also. Like you got Ngannou and Joshua just
Oh yeah,
ripped, just
that's an
absolutely.
all body matchup. It was a legit fight. Props to Ngannou. I think he got boned on the decision, but that's the way boxing is, and I don't think they were are ready to give a belt to somebody who's making their boxing debut. But
No,
he deserved it, and if he won, I don't think it was anything wrong with that. And Mike Tyson was in his corner, and he was saying, who won the fight. So
yeah, I think
pretty
everyone did,
cool.
but I mean, he got paid, so he didn't really care.
Yeah, and that's the other good part too, is he got a good payday from this. It just sucks that the UFC isn't a part of any of this, even though Ngannou has a really good legacy there. But you never know. Weird things happen. Maybe him and Dana make up and kiss each other's hands and all's well.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
I'd
don't
love
see
to
that
see.
happening.
No, I'd love to see him back, but it seems like he likes doing this. So
Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll get a John Jones and Ngannou matchup, but just in the boxing ring, which would also be kind of buns, but whatever. I'll take it.
I feel like Ngannou would win. I
I
feel
think
like
so too. I think John Jones is great in the UFC because he can wrestle. I don't think
in
he's
the
that great of a striker.
UFC matchup, I'm taking Jones. Boxing, I'm taking Ngannou.
Hopefully, you never know. I don't think the UFC would ever cross promote with the PFL. I think if Ngannou wanted to fight John Jones, he'd have to come back to the UFC, but
Yeah,
we'll see. You never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, the UFC did promote Conor McGregor's boxing match with Floyd Mayweather, and that was for literally nothing other than an exhibition fight.
all right, well, that was we touched on MLB, NBA, and UFC, so that was a good podcast. I think we'll bring it to a halt right there, and we hope you guys enjoyed this one. A lot to talk about with the MLB and especially the NBA as we kind of look through our brackets and a lot of trades that just happened pretty recently, especially with the Sixers. So don't forget to like us on Spotify and follow and do all the stuff on Instagram, YouTube, and follow us for there. Look for more content, posting reels, retweeting stuff on Twitter, all that fun stuff. And yeah, we look forward to the next one.